on the morning of May 29, 2012. A receptionist sitting inside the political headquarters of the Conservative Party of Canada in the city of Ottawa opens a standard cardboard delivery box delivered through the National Postal Service. A potent, foul odor of decay escapes the cardboard flaps, filling the quiet reception area and prompting an immediate security response from the building staff. Beneath a layer of ordinary packing material and crumpled paper, the staff member makes a grim, reality-altering discovery that will set off a global panic. The box contains a detached human foot packaged with a terrifying level of calculated precision. Hours later, vigilant postal inspectors at a main sorting facility intercept a second, identical parcel destined for the Liberal Party headquarters, finding a detached human hand inside. At that exact same moment, an anonymous, meticulously edited video begins spreading across the dark corners of the internet, showing a real, irreversible loss of human life set to a haunting soundtrack. Authorities in Ottawa and cyberspace investigators recognize they face a globally broadcast spectacle of human destruction orchestrated by an elusive predator. The story begins miles away from the Ottawa political center, tracing back to the historic streets of Montreal in the province of Quebec. Montreal in the early 2010s operates as a vibrant cultural hub, illuminated by glowing sodium streetlights and buzzing with the energetic footsteps of thousands of international students seeking a better future. Among these hopeful arrivals is 33-year-old June Lin, an optimistic and determined scholar hailing from the massive industrial city of Wuhan, China. Lin travels across the globe in the year 2010, seeking a fresh start and a progressive society where he can live an authentic, unburdened life far away from the rigid expectations of his past. He eventually enrolls at Concordia University to study the complex fields of engineering and computer science. The university campus features towering glass facades and busy lecture halls, providing a structured, intellectual haven for his ambitious career goals. Lin builds a quiet, disciplined routine, focusing entirely on his demanding academic coursework while navigating the complexities of a new language and culture. He dreams of establishing a successful technology business and finding a tight-knit, loving community in his adopted Canadian home. The notoriously cold Canadian winters stand in sharp poetic contrast to the immense warmth he brings to his friendships and his relentless pursuit of knowledge. To support the high costs of his international education, Lin secures a modest part-time position at a local corner convenience store located within the working-class Poutuate St. Charles neighborhood. The small shop relies on the constant deafening hum of commercial refrigerators and the heavy metallic chime of the front entrance bell announcing the arrival of every single customer. Lin stands behind the narrow counter for hours on end, greeting neighborhood regulars with a soft smile and a gentle, unassuming demeanor that wins the affection of his local community. His peers describe him as a deeply responsible man, anchored by a profound devotion to his family living thousands of miles away back in China. Regardless of his exhausting work and study schedule, he sits by his glowing computer monitor every single evening to send a text or video message to his aging parents. This daily communication serves as an unbreakable lifeline between his old world and his new reality, offering comfort to the people who raised him. He never misses a single update, ensuring his mother and father know he remains safe, healthy, and focused on building a prosperous future. Lin represents the very best of the immigrant student community, asking for nothing but a fair opportunity to work hard and contribute to society. His daily existence revolves around steady progression and quiet dignity, remaining entirely unaware of the darkness gathering in another part of the sprawling city. Just a few miles away from the busy university campus, a starkly different life unfolds inside an unremarkable low-rent apartment building situated on DeCary Boulevard. The physical distance between the busy convenience store where Lynn works and apartment number 208 spans only a brief, mundane ride on the underground Montreal metro system. Inside this specific dreary unit lives Luca Magnotta, a man consumed by an arrogant, unyielding desire for digital infamy and absolute control over others. Magnotta wears the deceptive mask of an ordinary citizen, walking the same cracked concrete sidewalks and shopping at the same local grocery stores as the ambitious students around him. Yet behind the locked door of his apartment, he cultivates a chilling superiority complex, performing disturbing acts for an unseen audience lingering on obscure internet shock forums. While Lynn works with great effort to build a genuine future in the real world, Magnotta constructs a fabricated, hollow digital persona designed to manipulate and terrify online communities. The predator hides in plain sight, leveraging the massive anonymity of the modern metropolis to mask his escalating cruelty from unsuspecting neighbors. Systemic safeguards fail at every level to monitor individuals who weaponize digital spaces, leaving a massive, dangerous blind spot for local law enforcement agencies relying on outdated patrol methods. These two contrasting worlds edge closer to a devastating collision that will shatter the illusion of safety in Montreal and send shockwaves across the globe. The quiet, steady rhythm of Lynn's life fractures permanently on the evening of May 24, 2012. The daily comforting messages sent from his Montreal apartment to the city of Wuhan cease without any warning, leaving an uncharacteristic and heavy silence on his family's computer screen. A profound sense of dread takes root among his close circle of friends when he fails to respond to multiple text messages and digital inquiries. The heavy metallic chime of the convenience store door rings the next morning, but Line fails to appear for his scheduled shift behind the counter. The store manager notes the unexcused absence, recognizing it as a glaring anomaly for a young man known throughout the neighborhood for his flawless punctuality and dedicated work ethic. Friends attempt to reach his mobile phone time and time again, hearing only the hollow, repetitive ring of an unanswered call echoing in their ears. The physical space of his apartment remains undisturbed upon inspection, yet the stagnant air hangs heavy with the realization that something is fundamentally wrong with the timeline. Days stretch into a grueling sleep-deprived weekend of rising panic as his friends conduct frantic searches through the local neighborhood parks and transit stations. The exact timeline of his disappearance forms a terrifying void, offering law enforcement absolutely no initial clues regarding his sudden departure from reality. While his friends scour the concrete streets of Montreal, an entirely different narrative surfaces in the lawless, unregulated corners of cyberspace. On May 25, 2012, an 11-minute piece of recorded footage appears on a notorious internet shock website known for hosting extreme unmoderated content. The meticulously edited video displays a tall figure wrapped in a dark hoodie, standing ominously over a restrained, defenseless individual situated on a mattress. The digital upload documents a severe permanent end to a human life, set to a haunting pop culture soundtrack that amplifies the psychological dread of the grim spectacle. Site administrators initially view the horrifying footage, dismissing the grim visuals as an elaborate, practical hoax created by a desperate attention seeker using theatrical makeup and staged lighting. The rigid automated protocols of content moderation fail at a foundational level, allowing the horrific reality to remain visible and accessible to the general public for days. Viewers across the world watch the chilling spectacle on their screens without realizing they are witnessing the final agonizing moments of a real, innocent man. The internet's inherent detachment provides a thick shield of anonymity for the predator, turning a profound human tragedy into a sick form of viral digital entertainment. The video circulates rapidly, infecting online message boards and social media platforms, while the true identity of the victim remains a mystery to oblivious authorities. The localized physical disappearance and the global digital nightmare intersect on the morning of May 29, 2012. Overcome with absolute terror and frustration, the friends of the missing student walk into a Montreal police precinct to file an official missing persons report with the front desk officers. At that exact same moment, specialized cyber investigators analyzing the viral internet footage reach a stomach-churning conclusion inside a secure federal facility. Forensic digital analysts verify the authenticity of the video files, confirming beyond any doubt that the harrowing scenes of human destruction are undeniably real. Law enforcement officers face a massive, infuriating systemic failure created by strict jurisdictional divides and frustratingly slow communication channels between local and federal agencies. The local missing person desk and the Major Crimes Division operate in strict, isolated silos, delaying the vital connection between the absent university student and the unidentified internet victim. Valuable investigative hours slip away as rigid paperwork, protocols, and bureaucratic red tape hinder the swift sharing of information across differing police departments. The detectives recognize that the perpetrator did not just end a single life, but launched a calculated psychological attack designed to taunt the public and outsmart the entire justice system. The horrifying realization sets off a desperate, chaotic race to identify the arrogant man behind the dark hoodie before he disappears into the global ether. The investigation pivots from the digital realm to a highly specific physical location behind the low-rent apartment complex situated on Decorari Boulevard. A narrow concrete alleyway separates the rear of the brick building from a row of commercial trash receptacles, enclosed by rusted chain-link fencing. On the afternoon of May 29, 2012, a local building superintendent walks through this exact alley to perform routine maintenance. A pungent, heavy odor of biological decay radiates from a pile of discarded refuse resting near the metal dumpsters. The superintendent approaches a large, dark suitcase abandoned among the torn garbage bags and broken furniture. He unzips the fabric shell just an inch, making a grim, life-altering discovery that prompts an immediate emergency dispatch call. Patrol officers arrive within minutes, securing the perimeter with yellow tape and halting all pedestrian traffic on the adjacent sidewalks. Inside the luggage crime scene, technicians locate the tragic earthly remains of the missing international student. The abstract digital nightmare officially transforms into a localized, devastating reality for the Montreal Major Crimes Unit. Detectives ascend the scuffed stairwell of the building, marching precisely 20 feet down the dimly lit second-floor hallway to stand outside apartment number 208. Officers breach the heavy wooden door, stepping into a suffocating cloud of industrial cleaners and chemical bleach. The primary suspect, Luca Magnotta, deployed gallons of these harsh solutions in a calculated effort to erase the horrors inflicted within the tiny claustrophobic living space. Forensic technicians in white protective suits deploy specialized ultralight lighting equipment across the bare floors and the single mattress resting in the corner. The glowing ultraviolet lamps expose a massive constellation of hidden biological evidence, revealing horrific crimson traces that seep deep into the baseboards and plaster walls. Investigators match the exact pattern of these hidden stains to the dreadful visual backdrop seen in the viral internet footage. The layout of the room, the specific position of a prominent poster on the wall, and the metallic bed frame align perfectly with the digital broadcast. Officers secure a signed lease agreement left on the kitchen counter, officially attaching a legal name to the arrogant predator wrapped in the dark hoodie. However, the empty closet and missing travel bags confirm a terrifying fact for the exhausted investigators. Magnotta abandoned his apartment days prior, utilizing the massive head start to vanish completely from local jurisdiction, as authorities run the primary suspect through federal criminal databases. A deeply frustrating and profound systemic failure comes to light. Years prior to the Montreal tragedy, Anonymous internet sleuths tracked a series of disturbing digital uploads featuring a young man inflicting extreme cruelty upon defenseless animals. These amateur investigators dedicated countless hours to tracing digital footprints, successfully identifying Magnotta as the primary architect behind the chilling online campaign. The online community compiled detailed dossiers containing his aliases, physical addresses, and escalating threats. Handing this invaluable intelligence directly to multiple international law enforcement agencies. Yet, rigid bureaucratic protocols and an agonizing lack of physical jurisdiction caused official investigators to dismiss the urgent civilian warnings. Law enforcement systems treated the animal cruelty reports as low-priority offenses, shackled by outdated legal codes that failed to recognize the clear, psychological escalation of a dangerous predator. Desk sergeants and intake officers ignored the glaring red flags, citing a lack of physical evidence within their specific geographic boundaries. This rigid adherence to localized paperwork created a massive legal loophole, allowing the suspect to roam free and refine his desire for absolute control. The agonizing truth settles over the command center, proving that early intervention could have prevented the tragedy entirely if the system possessed the capacity to adapt. The localized search rapidly evolves into an unprecedented international manhunt, requiring immense logistical coordination across the globe. Detectives subpoena travel manifests from the Pierre Elliott Trudeau International Airport, scanning thousands of passenger records from the past 72 hours. They discover that Magnotta purchased an international ticket under his own name, boarding a commercial flight bound for the sprawling city of Paris, France, on May 26th. By the time Montreal police identified the victim in the crime scene, the suspect had already crossed the Atlantic Ocean, moving effortlessly through international customs checkpoints. On May 31, 2012, the international policing organization known as Interpol issues a red notice, plastering his face across federal borders and global watch lists. French authorities mobilized tactical units to raid specific Parisian hotels and quiet cafes, but the elusive fugitive remains consistently one step ahead of the localized strike teams. Investigators monitor the digital network, realizing the suspect is actively reading online news articles about his own manhunt from random internet access points. He treats the global pursuit as an intoxicating game of evasion, feeding his insatiable desire for public notoriety. Authorities coordinate with telecommunication companies to trace his mobile phone signals, but the clever predator swaps devices, keeping his exact coordinates hidden within the dense European landscape. While tactical teams scour the historic streets of Europe, the devastating psychological impact of the crime continues to ripple across the North American continent. On June 5, 2012, the geographic scope of the terror expands to the coastal city of Vancouver, British Columbia, located nearly 3,000 miles away from the initial Montreal crime scene. A staff member at False Creek Elementary School opens a delivered parcel, making a harrowing discovery identical in nature to the political packages in Ottawa. Just hours later, administrators at St. George School intercept a second, equally grim delivery containing more earthly remains of the young student. The suspect intentionally mailed these horrific parcels days before his international flight, calculating the exact postal transit times to ensure the terror unfolded while he remained untraceable. Targeting innocent educational institutions demonstrated a profound level of arrogance, designed entirely to maximize public panic and stretch law enforcement resources to their absolute breaking point. Royal Canadian Mounted Police officers lock down the entire regional postal grid, manually inspecting thousands of parcels to prevent further psychological damage to the public. Investigators face a desperate race against time, terrified that the arrogant fugitive will attempt to replicate his horrific spectacle in a new, unsuspecting European city. The immense pressure mounts on the international task force to locate a man who blends perfectly into the bustling crowds of ordinary citizens. The international dragnet narrows on the afternoon of June 4th, 2012. The sprawling, historic urban landscape of Paris gives way to the gritty, working-class Neukölln district located within the massive city of Berlin, Germany. Karl Marx Street buzzes with the steady rhythm of afternoon commuter traffic, filled with ordinary pedestrians and noisy transit buses navigating the crowded avenues. A small, unassuming internet cafe known as the Cartier Center sits firmly embedded within a long row of identical gray commercial storefronts. The interior layout features a remarkably narrow, dim aisle lined with dozens of glowing computer monitors, casting a pale, unnatural light onto the faces of quiet patrons. Terminal number 25 sits isolated at the very back of this claustrophobic room, positioned perfectly to monitor the front entrance. A tall figure occupies this specific station, wearing a plain dark jacket and utilizing dark sunglasses indoors to obscure his facial features. He blends into the mundane environment, attempting to mask his true identity behind the quiet hum of computer cooling fans and ringing mobile phones. The arrogant predator who terrorized a continent now sits motionless in a cheap plastic chair. He believes he has vanished into the immense untraceable anonymity of the bustling European capital. Kadir Anlarisli operates the main front counter of the small establishment, maintaining a vigilant watch over the local patrons. The observant cafe employee monitors the closed-circuit security camera feeds positioned directly beside his busy cash register. He notices the peculiar, highly defensive posture of the unfamiliar man sitting alone at terminal number 25. Anlarisli recognizes the distinct angular facial features broadcast repeatedly across global news networks and law enforcement channels over the past agonizing week. The international police mandate matches the physical reality sitting just 30 feet away from his wooden desk with terrifying precision. The arrogant fugitive spends his purchased internet time casually scrolling through digital news articles detailing every single aspect of his own international manhunt. He actively searches for newly published photographs of himself, demonstrating a man consumed by his own fabricated digital infamy. Anlarisli makes a swift, critical decision, refusing to let the dangerous fugitive slip away into the denser Berlin crowds. He steps out from behind the counter, pushing through the heavy glass front door, and steps onto the busy outside pavement. The observant employee scans the bustling avenue, spotting a passing German police patrol vehicle traveling merely yards away from the cafe entrance. Anlarisli steps into the street and flags down the approaching officers, pulling them away from their routine neighborhood patrol route. He points a steady finger directly toward the illuminated front windows of the cafe, warning the authorities about the internationally wanted fugitive sitting inside. The uniformed officers step through the glass entrance, their heavy tactical boots thudding against the worn linoleum floor as they enter the quiet establishment. They navigate the narrow center aisle with practiced precision, rapidly closing the physical gap between the front door and the isolated terminal number 25. The officers surround the seated figure, utilizing their tactical positioning to cut off any potential avenue of physical escape. They demand official identification from the man who sits staring blankly at the glowing computer screen displaying news of his own crimes. The fugitive attempts one final pathetic act of deception, providing a fabricated name to the imposing authorities standing over his chair. The officers pressed harder, refusing to accept the hollow lie and demanding his true identity with unwavering authority. The arrogant facade crumbles under the intense psychological pressure of the localized physical confrontation. The man exhales sharply, resigning himself to sudden defeat by telling the officers they finally caught him, ending the chaotic global pursuit with the heavy metallic click of police handcuffs. The swift apprehension inside the quiet Berlin cafe initiates a massive logistical operation to return the perpetrator to Canadian soil, Federal law enforcement agencies secure a Royal Canadian Air Force military transport plane to ensure the high-profile fugitive remains isolated during the transatlantic flight. The extensive investigation officially culminates in the year 2014 within a heavily guarded, solemn courtroom located in the city of Montreal. The defense team attempts to exploit complex legal precedents, arguing that their client should be found not criminally responsible due to a severe medical diagnosis of schizophrenia. They claim the catastrophic event stemmed from a sudden, uncontrollable psychological break from reality rather than a foundation of calculated malice. The prosecution strikes back with an overwhelming avalanche of concrete forensic evidence and undeniable digital footprints recovered from the crime scene. Investigators map out the exact chronological timeline of the tragedy, proving the predator purchased specialized equipment, mailing materials, and international plane tickets weeks before the fatal encounter. Crown attorneys dismantle the defense narrative piece by piece, demonstrating to the court that every single action required deep, cold-blooded premeditation. The strict legal parameters that previously failed to stop the escalating digital threats finally hold firm against his endless manipulations. The jury absorbs the horrifying reality of the extensive planning, clearly recognizing the perpetrator as a lucid, intentional architect of immense human destruction. The immense weight of definitive justice descends upon the quiet courtroom after merely 8 days of intense, focused jury deliberation. The diverse panel of ordinary citizens delivers a resounding, unanimous verdict of guilty across all primary criminal charges, rejecting the fabricated narrative of mental incompetence. The presiding judge addresses the silent room, cementing the severe legal consequences for the catastrophic harm intentionally inflicted upon the local community. The court imposes a mandatory life sentence upon the arrogant perpetrator, ensuring the heavy iron doors of a maximum security federal penitentiary will lock away his physical freedom. The rigid Canadian sentencing guidelines mandate absolutely no possibility of parole for a strict minimum of 25 years. This definitive legal conclusion effectively strips the predator of his sought-after digital infamy, reducing his entire existence to a mere number within the highly structured confines of the correctional system. He loses access to the internet audiences he craved, confined to a stark concrete cell devoid of any public attention, theatrical platforms, or outside communication. The terrifying global spectacle ends not in a blaze of dark glory, but in the mundane, silent obscurity of a high-security prison block. The justice system closes the dangerous administrative loopholes, delivering a profound sense of moral order to a deeply traumatized nation. While the criminal court delivers necessary formal accountability, the true, enduring legacy of the devastating trial belongs to the incredible grace of Jun Lin. His grieving father, Diren Lin, travels thousands of miles across the globe from the massive city of Wuhan to witness the final verdict inside the Montreal courthouse. He stands before the quiet chamber and delivers a heartbreaking, poignant impact statement detailing how the malicious crime permanently shattered their family structure. The grieving father explains how the sudden loss erased their cultural faith in human safety, leaving a void that no legal victory could ever fully repair. The immense pain of losing a devoted, hard-working son in a foreign land echoes through the room, bringing seasoned detectives and stoic court reporters to absolute tears. Amidst the profound darkness of the trial, the local community rallies together to ensure the narrative remains focused on the brilliant, optimistic young man whose life was stolen. Friends and university peers establish lasting academic memorials, sharing stories of his gentle smile, his relentless work ethic, and the immense warmth he brought to everyone. They refuse to let his sacred memory be defined by the terrifying footage that once circulated in the unregulated, lawless corners of cyberspace. Jun Lin remains remembered as an ambitious, loving scholar who bravely crossed the globe seeking a peaceful life of total authenticity. The tragic loss forever alters the global understanding of digital safety, but his radiant spirit endures as a lasting beacon, reminding the world of the profound value of human life.